Hello, Wobbly Phil here. I don't normally do news stories, but I do Norton. And as Norton has been making headlines, I thought, fudge it, why not? As well as having owned a 1972 750 Norton Commando, I also used to be in the news biz. That's me there, sitting next to Sir Trevor MacDonald, a national treasure and one of the loveliest chaps you could ever wish to meet. I'll never forget the time we burnt round the North Circular Road on my Commando, Trevor riding pillion, for a pie and chips at the Ace Café. No, sorry, that's just one of those weird recurring dreams I have. I've followed the comings and goings at Norton for many decades, including filming the resurrection of the 1970s Norton race bikes after they were destroyed in the 2003 fire at the National Motorcycle Museum. So any updates about Norton get my old news nose twitching. Norton's roots go back to the 19th century, but latterly it didn't fare that well. At least two former owners were outright crooks, including a former fireworks salesman who ran off with £11 million from the employee pension scheme. Fortunately, all that is now well behind Norton. The new owner, the third biggest motorcycle company in India, TVS, have invested heavily in a brand spanking new factory with brand spanking new tooling, and re-engineered the 961 Commando to eliminate the quirks and foibles that were introduced when it was first kind of cobbled together in the 1990s. Pumping out 77 GGs from its pushrod engine, Motorcycle News seemed to like the revised bike when they road tested it in 2023. There's been mixed reviews from owners though, some of whom have had issues with reliability and customer service, along with having to endure recalls. That said, some owners of Commandos from the previous pension-stealing chief exec era are reportedly still loving their machines, even though the impression is that they've had to go through a lot more hassle to get them properly sorted. Recently, I noticed that those Commandos have more or less reached price parity on the second-hand market with the classic Commandos. These 961 Commandos are now in some cases well over a decade and a half old, which is a bit of a thumbs down for the marketing implication that you're investing in a future classic. I've said it before and I'll say it again, nobody should be buying any kind of vehicle thinking it's an investment, unless they're planning on 1. Not using it, 2. Hermetically sealing it in a salt mine, and 3. Living for at least another 100 years. But there's change afoot at Norton. You can't have helped clocking that a UK-India trade deal was in the headlines last week, and this is opening up the road ahead for Norton to sell complete bikes rather than a crate of parts for assembly in India. Strange that an Indian company should need a trade deal to sell its bikes in India, but don't forget these machines are made in England, in Solihull near Birmingham, and were previously subject to a 110% Indian import tariff, which under the trade deal has now been reduced to just 10%. So Norton are planning a new product range to meet the challenge, and there are whispers, rumours, speculation, call it what you will, that the new Commando might be set for retirement, or maybe some kind of overhaul, as it only has regulatory approval for UK roads. Norton's rip-snorting 1200cc V4 is set to continue as the company's halo bike, albeit with some upgrades and more up-to-date styling. But a new sub-500cc line based on 3 different engine sizes is due to be launched at the EICMA bike show in Milan on November the 4th this year, the start of a process to deliver a promised 6 new bikes. There are already teaser photos out there under the banners Resurgence and A New Era for Norton. Yep, those are the teaser photos, folks. About as much to see there as Jaguar's tease of its new upcoming electric range last year. I don't know what it is about the marketing geniuses doing the publicity for these Indian-owned companies, but frankly, a close-up photograph of a grille doesn't do it for me. Oh wait, one of Norton's 2 executive directors, who joined at the end of last year, is a gentleman called Nevijo Mance, or Nevijo Manthe, or Nevijo Manje, who was previously in a senior executive role at Jaguar Land Rover. That perhaps explains it. Hopefully this will give Norton a shot in the arm. I'm all for British marques like Triumph and Norton going great guns, and it was a shame to see Bolton-based CCM go into administration recently. Dealerships of all types seem to be closing left, right and centre too. My local Kawasaki dealership, where I bought several quacks over the years, is now a block of flats. Getting on for 20,000 people are employed in Britain's bike industry in one capacity or another, and long may that continue, or even, dare I say, grow. The Norton Motorcycle Company Limited is capitalised with well over £100 million worth of shares, and boasts former Manchester United boss Richard Arnold as its other executive director. He boasted last year that Norton was going to go from selling a relatively small number of models in one country to selling a large number of models all over the world. Apparently, millions have been earmarked. What's more, Mr. Arnold is a biker of more than 25 years standing and keeps his bespoke, custom-painted Norton V4 SV 1 of 1 in his living room. He must have a very understanding missus. He's also a firm believer that bikers don't want electric bikes. Anyway, bold plans indeed, and much needed when you consider Norton pre-tax losses of £38.2 million for the year ending March the 31st, 2024, on sales of just £3.9 million. 2024-25 wasn't much better, with losses of £36.7 million reported on sales of £3.5 million. Some way to go then to catch up with Triumph, which reported £72 million pre-tax profit for the same period. So that's all the Norton news that's fit to print. I wish them all the best of British and Indian luck. Meanwhile, there are currently some good deals out there on brand new Commando 961s, should you get the urge. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing to let YouTube know we're doing something right here at 3 Phils. Thank you.